At the outset, my greetings to ET Telecom, all the participants, organizers, dignitaries who I am sure are adding immense value to this summit. If we look at today's telecommunication scenario, it is full of opportunities and full of challenges. I have mentioned opportunities first because I believe that we have today immense opportunities waiting to be encashed, to be used for the benefit of all society. Challenges will always be there. In any situation, we will have challenges. So that is taken to be something as a given, a constraint. But what we have today is a situation, even if we take, for example, Corona or COVID-19, this itself, despite being a challenge, gave telecommunications a huge opportunity to prove its utility. During the period of lockdown, road, rail, air connectivity, sea connectivity, all was stopped. What connected India, what connected us globally was telecommunications. Whether it was voice communication, whether it was data, internet, video conferences, social media, telecommunications brought all of us together. More important, the frontline health workers, doctors, nurses, the police authorities, the district administration, the key decision makers and takers, they could function only because of our robust and excellent telecommunication networks. I use this opportunity of summit, the digital summit organized by ET Telecom, to congratulate the entire telecommunications community, the TSPs, the ISPs, the manufacturers of telecom equipment, the huge workforce working to keep the networks running. You have done an excellent job. Keep it up. And this human service which you have rendered is certainly very, very valued. In the digital India perspective, the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, where the digital footprint is to encompass the entire country, whether it is by wireline or wireless networks, applications based on digital technology, e-commerce, e-health, e-education are becoming, have become the norm and will become even more popular in the days to come. Work from home, this is also being enabled in Digital India context. In fact, we are in close touch with NASSCOM and we are working out arrangements to make work from home and the situation, the working conditions for other service providers to be even better, so that this important aspect of economic activity is encouraged and is able to realize its due potential. We are very enthused and encouraged by the recent announcement made by the Honorable Prime Minister of 6 lakh villages of the country, the entire inhabited villages of the country being connected by fiber. This is going to be a huge business opportunity also. Of course, it's a big challenge for us because you have to do this in 1000 days. So BharatNet, which is our flagship program, we are now considering of getting this implemented on a PPP mode for a large part of the country. We have even progressed in terms of submarine optical fiber cable, where Andamans and connected islands next to Port Blair till Great Nicobar have now been connected by submarine OFC. Honorable Prime Minister has now given us a target of having similar connectivity for the Lakshadweep Islands also, and we are on the job. The expanding footprint of 4G. Now I believe between 90 to 95% of the country has the 4G footprint. Quality of service can vary, but the connectivity is there. And opportunities which will now emerge because of 5G with its great qualities of low latency, huge connectivity, reliability, and immense speed as compared to 4G. So we will have a proliferation of IoT, of M2M, and artificial intelligence, AI applications will also be supported through 5G. And if you look at Industry 4.0, the entire concept, what is happening, is so closely intertwined with proliferation of telecom networks, in particular 5G. This entire ecosystem of opportunities is there for us to reap and to realize. In fact, what we always believed that broadband is an essential infrastructure like power, like road, like rail, like airports. Broadband today is certainly acknowledged and recognized as a critical infrastructure for the progress of any country. We have, in December last year, launched the National Broadband Mission, in which the private sector has a great role in laying broadband across the length and breadth of the country. And broadband is also related to high quality of service even for mobile, because fiberization of towers is an integral part of laying the broadband infrastructure. In many seminars, in many fora where I have gone, every time the questions asked to me are on the AGR, the adjusted gross revenue, and its implications and what's going to happen to the industry and what is the future of telecom. I'm happy that the AGR issue is now settled. There's certainty. The court orders are very clear. The telcos know very well what is to be paid and the time frame. And the government is also clear. We are hopeful that this clarity, this finality, this closure of the issue will now lead to more investments in the telecom sector, because the uncertainty has been now taken away. It's been removed. Most of you, and I'm sure we have here a very erudite audience participating in this summit. Most of you are aware the National Digital Communications Policy, a very vibrant and dynamic document approved by government in the year 2018, encompasses all what is required to be done, keeping in mind medium term and a long term time frame. This document was prepared and finalized in close consultation with all stakeholders. Based on this, the Department of Telecommunications is working on spectrum reform measures, how we should reform various aspects of spectrum management. Based on this, we are also working on how to improve telecom infrastructure. This, I believe, will be another great opportunity for all of us actively involved in this sector. If we have to enumerate the challenges, certainly the proliferation of wireline broadband in India requires much improvement. In an international scenario, we have to improve our position because broadband proliferation, broadband becoming pervasive, broadband adoption will certainly also depend on how fast we are able to proliferate, expand our wireline broadband networks. So we must together work on this also. Then we have the issue of IPR creation in India. Sometimes it is a little disheartening to note that the Indian brains, the Indian human capital is used, but the IPR is created elsewhere. We must all resolve and work to ensure that IPR is created by Indian companies and it is with us. Similarly, manufacturing of telecom equipment, it's a big market. We are net importers. We should become Atmanirbhar in this. We must become self-reliant in telecom manufacturing. The big companies should set up manufacturing bases in India. It is being done, some have set up already, but this needs to be expanded. That value addition in India should be substantial. We are also always engaged in improving the quality of service of mobiles and our landline networks. Because ultimately, we all work for the benefit of the consumer, and the consumer punishes and rewards us. So, the quality of service of our networks must be improved and it must become better over time. 5G applications which we develop, applications and use cases, must have relevance for India. The benefit of 5G is not just better telecommunication, my making call to you, or faster download speed of internet, or email, or better quality of films which I watch on my mobile. We must have uses which are relevant for the society. 5G applications in health, in education, in public safety, traffic management, mining, disaster management. And I'm very happy that a lot of our startups are working on this. We recently held a hackathon inspired by the idea given by the Honorable Prime Minister. And this was open to all universities, IIMs, even NRIs abroad. And it was an excellent response which we got. And we have shortlisted 100 best ideas and we are working on them. ROW issues must also be addressed. I realize government has a major responsibility in this and we are working together with the state governments so that the permissions for right of way are faster, available in a time-bound manner, and the cost of right of way is reduced. In fact, a lot of cable, optical fiber cable gets damaged in road widening. Why can't we have a situation that optical fiber cable should be treated as a service? And whenever road is widened, whoever widens the road pays for shifting of the service, like we pay for shifting of water line or power line. This will lead to a lot of cost saving and also timely shifting of OFC, resulting in better quality of service. Another big challenge, which incidentally also is a great business opportunity, is cybersecurity. As we become more and more digital, as our dependence on digital technology increases, so does our vulnerability to hackers, to people, to entities who want to misuse the digital technology and disrupt and create problems in systems. We must individually and as corporates, as entities, enhance our cybersecurity. And an entire industry which is there, it's nascent, but is emerging now, will emerge, which needs to emerge to provide better cybersecurity, security audit, and various ways in which the gaps are plugged. I was going through the agenda which will be covered in this summit, and I must again congratulate ET Telecom for having a wide canvas. I think you have covered a whole set of issues which are very important. It is necessary that these are discussed, threadbare, deliberated upon. And what emerges from this summit are policy prescriptions, which will be used by us. I firmly believe that government is not the repository of all wisdom. It is not, it cannot be. That is why it is essential that we, on a regular basis, interact with the industry, with the academia, with the consumers, with the civil society, with the media, in fact, with all stakeholders, so that we get inputs which help in formulation of policy. We understand where the shoe pinches, and there we can rectify the problem. Telecom sector, with its huge contribution to GDP, to employment, to quality of life, to ease of living, to governance, transparency, empowerment of people, equity, and its connect with the youth, whether as users or as startups or as sources of new ideas, has now come of age. The sector has now come of age. And now, in the next decade and more, we will see more and more progress of telecom and more progress based on telecom. Incidentally, when I said the telecom has a connect with youth, the old people, the geriatric population also rely a lot on telecom for their security, for their connect with their children, relatives, friends. So I would say that telecom's role today, its link, its connect, is all pervasive. Telecom today is not of making a voice call or some data connect. It is intersectoral in its footprint. Every sector of the economy today is dependent on, connected to telecommunication networks. But this great opportunity imposes on us a huge responsibility. Responsibility to deliver. We have the expectations of the entire society. I hope that this summit will be a step in this direction. I again congratulate ET Telecom and all the organizers for this excellent summit, and I do look forward to receiving the set of policy prescriptions which we will certainly be happy to consider and use. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.